This is my 1974 HQ GTS 4-door Monaro in a bit of disrepair, but surprisingly actually a fairly neat, tidy car. Very minimal rust in this thing, but we do have one major item, apart from obviously replacing that door. This is a complete car, so it does all exist. It was my daily. We have a brand new old stock quarter panel for the other side. You can't see it here, but there's some hail damage in the roof, which is the whole reason this thing was taken off the road in the first place. And it's just sat. Genuine barn dust for those. And God, there's some mould on that steering wheel. This car is a bit of a time capsule. All the original paint in a lot of places. It's had very little modified on it over the years. You can see, interestingly enough, the colour is actually a very blue colour on the firewall, not black. Most of the panels are in fairly good condition now that I've swapped most of the doors out. .253, very original as well. All the little bits and brackets and everything that are hard to find, like lead holders and those sorts of things. Now I must apologise in advance, some of the audio is a bit average in this, and it is all just being filmed on my phone, so we'll have to look at possibly getting some camera gear and hopefully maybe even getting a mic or something like that, because yeah, it's a bit woeful, so I apologise for that, but welcome to Busted and Rusted, and this is what we do. Thank you. This is also my first time making a YouTube video, so please bear with me because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Editing's probably going to be sketchy, the sound's going to be sketchy, and I'm sure the video is probably going to be a bit sketchy too, maybe a bit shaky. Bear with me, we'll work our way through it all, and hopefully we'll get some quality viewing for you guys, at least anyway, and actually get some work done after this one. So thank you, and please like and subscribe, and if you want to see some more of this build that's about to start, and some of the other crazy crap that we do as well. Thank you very much, guys. Rightio, take you for a proper tour around the car now. So this rear quarter panel, the one I mentioned previously, is the one that needs to get changed. Now from this sort of angle and everything like that, it all looks perfectly fine. The problem being is that when this car went off to the panel shop to get the hail damage repaired in it, I gave him a quarter panel that I cut off another car that was rust free, and he was supposed to fit that at the same time. Instead of doing that, he's cut the bottom off this quarter panel to repair the rust that was in it and welded in a section from Rares or something by the looks of it. And being a HQ, you can see inside the boot, and this is a quality of a repair for a genuine GTS, which I think is atrocious. So when I got the car back, minus the quarter panel that I supplied and that repair, I got on the hunt and finally found myself a new old stock quarter panel. A little bit rough around the edges, but you know, when something's been sitting around for 40 years, it looks a little second-hand, that's for sure. But it's pretty good. It's got 2 little dings in it, which will be easy fixes, but it is a full, genuine quarter panel. So first thing we're going to do is gap the back door up, make sure everything is all good, which at the moment it's only just quickly slapped on there. Get the car down to the workshop, and we'll gap the boot up, make sure all the gaps are all perfect, and then we'll set apart getting this quarter panel off, and then once the quarter panel's off, we'll start fitting up the new one. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the lead again, or if I'm just going to cut it in a different place, like halfway down the pillar. But as we go, we'll get onto that. The whole car's got to be bare metalled. We're going to knock a rotisserie up for it, and get going. I'm going to cut the cowls off and make sure there's nothing underneath. Better off to do that now than to get bitten later on after I paint it. And make sure that that's all sweet underneath and treated. Obviously all the engine bay and everything needs fully repainting. The rails will need to be blasted and painted. There is a fair bit of rust proofing and stuff, which you can actually see all the rust proofing that was done on the car back in the day. It protected some stuff, but a majority of it not. Basically 3 out of the 4 doors I've replaced. The doors I've got are not too bad. There is some repairs. This green door, there's a couple of holes there on the outside, no rust on the inside. This front door, down the bottom down here, there's a couple of little bubbles here as well, and a couple of little ones on the inside, but apart from that, it's pretty good. Front guards, 0 rust. Nose cone, no rust. Radiator support panel, no rust. This front guard I got run into by a lady in the city many years ago, and she did a runner, so I got to fix that dent on the body line, which is unfortunate. But apart from that, once again, no rust. This door has got just some very light surface rust and stuff like that, that just needs to be fixed. None on the inside. And this back door, the only one that's original to the car, is actually pretty good. Now unfortunately, we've got a rust bubble down here in the bottom of the dog leg, and we can also see where my favourite panel beater back in the day actually has filled the dog leg in. No idea why. Both sides exactly the same. So that's all, we get stripped back and find out why he's done that, because there was never actually any rust there. There's no rust around any of the window frames or anything like that. They're all really good. All the boot floor is all really good as well. Absolutely no repairs there to do. Inside of the quarter panel on the driver's side, no repairs to do there at all. The rear beaver, no repairs apart from some damage around the bumper bracket mounting hole. I'd say it's had a bit of a tap in the back. When I got it, the bar that was on it had some blue overspray on it, so on a white car, tells me that the bumper had been replaced. All the floors inside the car, all mint, nothing wrong with them at all. The sills are all beautiful. The only other spot of rust in the car is actually down in here. If I can get the light to shine in the right place, you can see some rust there on the very corner of the firewall where the seam is. So we'll get to that and we'll fix that up as well. Bonnet, boot, no rust in those either. So it's a really solid car, and a minimal workload hopefully to get this thing right. I've already had things like the back seats already been retrimmed. Yes, it's covered in years and years of dust, but it is all done. The bottom of the back seat's been done as well. I haven't had the fronts done yet, but we will need to get the fronts done. There is some splitting and stuff there, and the vinyl has gone very hard. And this car is just a black interior vinyl, no cloth inserts, no houndstooth or anything like that. I do have the wrong dash pad in there at the moment. I've got a really good air conditioning twin vent dash pad, but I am on the lookout for a single vent one. That's really about it. We'll get a new roof lining. We'll order some new door cards, new carpet underlay, all that sort of stuff at the same time, obviously. And the car is staying very original. It will be white with the black stripes. The 253 is going to get a full overhaul. Same with the Trimatic. The 10 bolt limited slip diff that's in there. Only variation is many years ago I took out the 278 LSD centre, and I put in a 355 LSD centre because it was woeful to drive with a 253 auto and 278. You'd get blown away by Hyundai Excel at the lights, unfortunately. But it is just a cruiser. I do have my other car, my other HQ for going fast, which you're going to see some more of on the channel as well, along with some other projects that I have. I do have a FJ40 short wheelbase Land Cruiser. It basically is a extremely rusty car that I've been slowly working on, so we'll get some of that work done as well, and try and get that car up and finished. And I've got two 67 XR Falcon wagons as well. One of them's a factory 289 car, which was a mate of mine's car, and he passed away, so that car's being restored back to a fairly original car. It'll just be 289 auto, new paint throughout, and just lowered, and that'll be it for that one. And the second one, which was supposed to be a parts car, it's actually a bit too good to be a parts car, so I've decided that I'm going to do a Barra. So we're going to put a Barra in a 67 XR wagon and have a bit of fun with that. Maybe try and get a green top gas motor or something and throw an eBay turbo on there and have a bit of a play anyway. I haven't done any playing with Barras, so everyone else is doing it, so why not? And then of course we'll just continue on with our normal LS antics as well with everything else that we do. So a bit to do, plenty of content that should come this way, and just got to remember that I do work a day job as well, so this is all nighttime work that to get this done, and I'm in a mate's shed to do this, with some barter work. I did some work on his stuff to get the space, but we may look at trying to get our own shed as well for doing it, because a little 6x7 at home is just not cutting it these days, unfortunately. And you can see in the background here we've got some garbage trucks and stuff like that as well. That's part of my mate's business, and so yeah, been working on those, building those for the last few years with him. That's about it for the moment.